All right, today we're going to talk about the 10 books that I wish that I could read again for the first time. This is all genres and no particular order. All right, so first up, we have The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, was not a fan, did not like it, so I was very hesitant to read The Great Alone. Uh, a dear friend on Book Talk told me to read it, recommended it, and I absolutely loved it. It still sits with me to this day. There's something about the family dynamics and the little girl's story about growing up that just hit me in a way that I was not expecting. If you've never read this book, basically about a family that moves to Alaska, and it's kind of like a coming of age. Parents are not great, abusive father, the list goes on. It was just really well done, and it made me really sit in my feels for a very long time afterwards. So I highly recommend checking it out. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I was very hesitant to read this book because I am typically not a sci-fi person, and I was very scared to read this one. However, everybody says to do the audiobook of this book, and I can confirm that doing the audiobook was the best decision I ever did. It was so much fun. I loved every aspect of it. Yeah, it was sciency and everything else, but I was so engaged in the story that I thought it was just chef's kiss. I love Rocky, and the movie adaptation was done so well. I just, if you have not read this book, please make sure you do. If you can do the audio because I highly recommend it. It's such a fun time. House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This book, not a lot really happens, but it is one of the coziest books I ever read. It put me in my feels in the best way. I just loved these characters. I love Linus so much, and all of the characters were just so. I was just rooting for all of them, and I just loved it. The follow up to it was also good, but The House in the Cerulean Sea just hits, and I do highly recommend checking it out. We love queer representation as well, so you know. Next up, Who's with Liam by David A. Lambert. This book has rocked my world since I read it at the end of April. David A. Lambert is an indie author. He sent me an ARC copy of this book, and I never stopped thinking about it since I read it. We are following a story of Liam, who he sees his sister's life tragically get taken, and the family is not coping well. They end up moving to a new house, and there is a presence involved, is the easiest way I could say it. Think like invisible best friend, but stuff gets real dark real quick, and my heart just breaks for Liam every time I think about this book. I highly recommend checking it out. It's one of my favorite books of the year so far. Appetite for Innocence by Lucinda Berry. If you've never read a Lucinda Berry book, what rock are you living under? Up until I read this book, it would have been Saving Noah. But Appetite for Innocence was one of the most uncomfortable books I have ever read, period. It was so well done. There's something that Lucinda does with characters when she's writing from a trauma perspective that really just hits you in a way that you don't expect. I think because she's also a trauma therapist, that she has a little bit of, you know, knowledge in that. But there are two scenes in this book that I will never forget for the rest of my life. I do have a trigger warning for you before you read this book because it is heavy. We are dealing with not great topics that are very heavy involving children. So be forewarned. But it is worth it because it is so well done. What Lies Between Us by John Mars, the book that started my John Mars obsession. This book is one of my favorite books of all time. I tell everybody to read it. It is unhinged. These characters are crazy. I just devoured it, and I still think about it. And I read it 2 years ago now. One of my favorite books, and I need more of it. So read. We're gonna stay in the John Mars train, and we're gonna say You Killed Me First. I love this book. I love anything housewife related. This is giving a darker Desperate Housewives vibe. I ate every page of this up. I You need to read it. It is, again, it is dark. It is unhinged. These women are crazy. It's just so good. So check it out. Throne of Broken Gods by Amber V. Nicole. Book 2 in the Gods and Monsters series. Any book in the Book of Azrael, Throne of Broken Gods, Dawn of the Cursed Queen, or Wrath of the Fallen is top tier. But there is something about this book that just takes the cake. We are following Diana's revenge tour from book 1, and she is unstoppable. She is unhinged, and she wants to burn everything down. And I ate every part of it up. And Daddy Sam Kyle, we approve. And lastly, Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas of the Throne of Glass series. The Throne of Glass series itself is just peak, but this book in the series, Kingdom of Ash is a close second, but this book hit different than all of them. So much happened in this book. I loved all the character development in this book. Menon in this book just rose and was everything. Daddy Dorian, I just ate everything up in this book, and I will never forget it. I love this book, and I love this series so much. If you haven't read it, I am jealous if you get to read this series for the first time. So, all right, so those are the 10 books that I wish that I could read again for the first time, because I'll just never get to experience them again, and that breaks my heart. But if you get to read these books for the first time, I love that for you. And let me know, because I love hearing people read these books and their experience of it. So let me know in the comments if you like what you see, like and subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.